Good afternoon, this is Boise Fruit, and today I'm going to do a video on the Emerald Beaut Plum. It is October 9th, 2021, and I just picked these fruit yesterday, so fabulous hang time. They ripen very late, and I also have a Candy Heart Pluerry to compare to it. I also picked that 2 days ago, so that's amazing because that fruit has been ripening for 2 months. It's been ripe on the tree really for 2 months, and the quality has been great 2 months ago, and it's still great now. So I'm going to compare this Candy Heart that I have left to the Emerald Beaut Plum, which is on the right, and give you my overall impressions. So the Emerald Beaut Plum, the tree I have is on citation rootstock, which I found to be a very good rootstock for plums and poulots. Not as great for peaches, but for plums and poulots I find that it's really good, produces really good quality fruit, good sized tree. I'll show a picture of the tree just to give you an overall sense of how big that is. I think it's been in ground for 3 or 4 years now. So overall, this is a fantastic piece of fruit, the Emerald Beaut Plum, one of my absolute favorites. I think the only plum or poulat I like more is probably the Flavor King poulat, just because the flavor is so phenomenal. But this reminds me of a large cherry. It's so crisp and snappy when you bite into it that it's just so enjoyable to eat. So I'm going to cut these open, and then we'll take a closer look at the fruit, and then I'll give you my overall impressions of what I think of it. Right now it's about 75, 76 degrees in the greenhouse, so it's absolutely perfect fruit testing weather, at least here in the greenhouse. It's getting cool outside, so I thought this was a great time to make this video. Okay, let me cut these open, then give you my overall impressions. Okay, I've cut the fruit open. On the right hand side there, you can see the Emerald Beaut Plum. It's pretty much yellow on the inside, and on the left, the dark red from the Candy Heart Pluerry. So let's take a look at the Emerald Beaut Plum first. As you can see here, when it gets ripe, it actually has a fair amount of red on the skin. It's a very green plum up until basically the very end when it starts to ripen. And it's just a beautiful piece of fruit. It maintains a very crunchy texture even when it's fully ripe. So that is a wonderful aspect of it, and a very good flavor, which I'll try in just a moment. Beautiful piece of fruit. And then let's take a look at the Candy Heart. Also a nice looking piece of fruit. Dark red on the inside. Overall, excellent piece of fruit. I've talked about this before in other videos. Let me show the inside of the Emerald Beaut. I think I forgot to do that. Very nice texture. That's probably the best aspect. Super crunchy. I really enjoy it. Reminds me a lot of a cherry. Okay, let's try this. I'll try the Emerald Beaut first. It's excellent. It's firm. There's a nice acid-sweet balance. I wouldn't say there's a predominant sweet flavor. It's really well balanced. So very good flavor. Super crunchy. You can even eat them when they're a little less ripe than this and they're crunchy like an apple. Just incredible snap on the skin. So excellent piece of fruit. Let's compare that to the Candy Heart. Take a bite of this. Also excellent. Much softer than the Emerald Beaut. But the flavor, I would say, the flavor might be slightly better on the Candy Heart, but I love the texture on the Emerald Beaut. So I generally prefer the Emerald Beaut over the Candy Heart, although it's very close. I mean, they're both excellent pieces of fruit. The Candy Heart to me is like what the Methley Plum wishes to be. It's like a much better version of a Methley Plum in all aspects. Anyway, I love both of these pieces of fruit. I'm going to go ahead and test the bricks, and then I'll give you a report back on what the bricks level on each of these pieces of fruit is. I'll be right back. Okay, I tested the bricks on both pieces of fruit. The Candy Heart had a bricks of 22.5, and the Emerald Beaut had a bricks of 21.5. So very close. Very high sugar content for both of these pieces of fruit. So excellent quality, both directions. Candy Heart is much softer, or it's still not soft, it's mildly firm, and the Emerald Beaut is very firm. Just a couple of the things that I didn't mention is the bloom times and how common it is to get fruit from this even on a cold year. In my experience, the Candy Heart at least produces every single year. We've had some fairly cold years, in years where I didn't get fruit from many other trees. and the Candy Heart still produced. The Emerald Beaut also is pretty productive. Not as productive, I would say, as the Candy Heart, but still fairly productive, and I usually get fruit from that tree every year. Both of my trees are on citation, which in my experience is a great rootstock for plums and poulots, not so much peaches. And overall, excellent pieces of fruit. Highly recommend both. If I had to just choose one, I think I would choose the Emerald Beaut, just because I love the texture so much. It really reminds me of a large cherry. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.